All right, peace, peace. What's up? Let me see. All right. I hope everybody's doing good. Am I getting an echo? I thought I heard some a little bit. Let me know in the chat if y'all getting an echo. Am I y'all getting an echo out there? Corinne says happy Sunday, everyone. Discipleship Ministry says peace to everyone. No way. Good. All right. I thought I heard some at first. Thank you. Thank you. All right. What's up? What's up? It is. Hang on a second. My dog trying to come in here. Got to kick him out. He be distracting me. Um, what is it? It's February the 11th. Man, shoo, half a month's gone. Where are you on your to-do list? Where are you in your progress on your business? Whatever it is you're trying to do to make yourself better than you was last year, where are you? Where are you with that? I hope that you're doing good. I hope, even if you fell off track, I hope that you realize that and you're working your way back on track. That's why the title of the show is, how do you eliminate these bad habits that we create? You've been doing them so long, you got to figure out a way to replace the bad habits with good habits. What are some about bad habits, that you can think of? Somebody put in the chat. What are some of your bad habits that you can think of right offhand that you know you need to work on and get rid of? I forgot to start the Telegram channel. Starting it now. Live stream, start video chat. Let me record it. What are some of the things that you know you need to work on? Let me see what y'all got in the chat. I'll tell you what one of my bad habits is. One of my bad habits is I know I have something to do, and I'll get started on it, and I'll allow things to distract me. Something triggers me, and I get distracted away from it. Next, I'm miles away from where I said I wanted to be. So that's one of my things that I get caught up in. I left my my spirit juice, my ancestor juice over there on my desk over there. Hold on. That's another thing. I need to get well organized way before the show, so I don't leave stuff. Because what I did was I was burning my Palo Santo wood and my incense that gets my atmosphere right. I'm gonna get me some new lighting. I want to get some ambient lighting that'll really set the mood. But C King Bay said finishing some of my legal processes. Okay, I can tell you what happens. You want to do it, and then you allow stuff to distract you. You allow things to get in the way, and then you don't do them. You start on it. That's pretty much my issue. I start on it and then I let something turn my attention. So we have to not allow triggers to get us off track. What it is we have to be consistent in like with okay, I'm not going to let anything distract me until I get this done. So, what is really that bad habit? I'm speaking about myself. The bad habit is of trying to do more than one thing at once. I'm in the bad habit of allowing things to distract me and try to do multiple things at the same time instead of finishing one thing and moving on to the next, no matter what the pricing it is. And when you really realize what you're doing, a lot of the stuff you're allowing yourself to distract, it can wait. You're only one person. And if it's something that can't wait, maybe it's one you might want to delegate the responsibility of what that is to someone else. Like right now, for almost a year, we've been dispatching our own trucks. That's about to not happen. I'm gonna train somebody and they're gonna have uh goals that they must meet, and how much each truck needs to make and what they need to make for them to be successful. If they can't do it, they can't work with us. So that was one of the issues. We had dispatchers and they weren't performing. But I'm gonna hire in-house dispatchers. They'll get paid to get our loads, but they have to meet performance levels. Now you see why jobs have performance levels. Because if you don't do that, people will just do whatever they want and still expect to get paid. You see? Somebody will be on, that'll be their job. So that's one of the things that distract me a lot. I'm constantly trying to move those trucks around and trying to run my business, my hindsight radio church event, run all of those things. My coaching and consulting and teaching business. We have to learn how to delegate responsibly. Some of these responsibilities can be delegated. I'm glad that I have Corinne and I have Steve on the team. I have Tom Capola. All of these three people have done some really great things for me that took my attention where I could put my attention on other things. And that reminds me, I'm saying it right now. Corinne and Steve, we need to go ahead and launch that funnel, that program. I know some of the things I had to add into it, but we need to come up with a date when we're gonna start it. I'll get those what I need to fill in. That's how I work. Like once I put myself on a deadline, hey, this is when I'm doing it, then I get it done. That's what makes me focus. That's one of the triggers I do to myself is I will put myself on a time limit. Hey, this is when I got to teach this, so that means I have to have everything in order before I teach it. So sometimes I don't even have the outline or the script ready for teaching, but I know how I am. So I will say, hey, this is the date I'm gonna do it. And so okay, it's gonna be done by the time that date. I'll be able to teach it. And this is what this book is talking about right here. Atomic Habits. Hey, thanks to Corinne and Steve for the bookmark. This weekend is going to be lit. I just read that. I didn't say I might have read it before. That's the bookmark they gave me for my books, and I'm using it. Actually, I also got the money pen right here, making notes. So it's called the habit loop, right? This is out of this book. I recommend you get it. The link to get the book is in the description. I do get a little something if you order that. That helps support the station. Uh, go get it. So the chapter starts out talking about how they experimented with cats on how they built this maze, and in the maze they had a way to get out, right? And they left like a little lever that they could hit and they could get out. So they just, of course, the cats wouldn't know that the lever would be the way out. So they wanted to see how long it took for the cats to figure out that lever would let them out. They did a lot of experiments until the cats figured out how to get out within 6, 7 seconds. Highest time it took them to get out was like a minute on some change, right? But what they figured out is what forms a habit in this process. So they had got in there, they had to figure out, they did trial and error until they got it right. And then once they figured out how to get out, they just went straight to the reward. So how does trial and error work? You do something, and you don't like the result. That's the cue. Hey, yeah, wait a minute, that's not good. I need to try something else. So first of all, you had the lesson of persistent. They was being persistent in getting out. Of course, the reward outside of their cage was some food that they can go eat. So they're saying that there's 4 stages of how habits are formed. Here it is. The process of building a habit can be divided into 4 simple steps: cue, craving, response, and reward. Breaking it down into these fundamental parts can help us understand what a habit is, how it works, and how to improve it. So, all habits proceed through 4 stages in the same order: cue, craving, response, and reward. This 4 step pattern is the backbone of every habit. So, in order to fix a habit, you got to know how does a habit cause? How do I get to this habit? How did I get to the habit of watching a lot of television? What was the you got 4 steps: cue, craving, response, and reward. What was the cue that you would watch TV? What cued you? Oh, the cue is a lot of people is I worked all day and I'm gonna go watch TV. I need a break. The reward to that TV watching from work, the cue is you worked hard and I need a break. I need to relax my mind. I'm gonna go watch me some TV. And once you get the cue, you start to crave it. Hey, I gotta watch whatever show. Then your response is the acting on that craving, and then you start watching TV. And the reward is you get pleasure out of watching the TV. But what happens? What typically happens when you watch one show? You watch another. I believe streaming television is the devil. It is, because what happened? Remember, you had to wait until the next week to watch the continuation of a program that left you in suspense, right? Now you don't have to do that. They put all 8 shows right there for you to binge watch the whole weekend. How many people? Raise your hand if you're one of those people who have binge watched the show in one day, in one setting, in one weekend, or whenever. Yeah, I'm guilty. Now think about it. Each show is average 45 minutes to an hour. So you literally, if it's 8 shows, spend 8 hours watching a show. They know what they're doing when they're doing that. They know if they can get the large masses to pay attention to their programming, those same masses will never be successful. You're not going to be successful binge watching television programs. Let me be clear on what I mean by successful. You're not going to reach any type of wealth creation, any type of generational wealth creation, any type of high level success binge watching television. I can't. How you know? I know you're not. And you talk to anybody who's high level, who is millionaires, billionaires. I can promise you, they're not watching television. Not the type of television we're watching or what you're watching. I could put money on it. Most of the people are reading books, studying on how to take the money they already have and make it grow. That is their life's work. And all their life, their days are spent around is taking their life's work and making it better, making themselves better. Bill Gates and get to be someone who is not a doctor, but is looked at for information when it comes to vaccines by watching television. He studied. He studied statistics. He studied vaccines. He studied all of this stuff, and he know how to put systems in place to make people want to take vaccines. I'm not saying vaccines are good or bad. I'm just saying he had to study all of that. He had to spend time in that. He had to pay researchers and invest his mind into that area. And now he's on the WHO board. Like he can get this guy's not a doctor, right? But somehow they're using his information to spearhead a lot of what we are doing now when it comes to vaccines. So he proves and dispels any myth that you have to have an education or some type of degree in something in order to be respected in it. So they've taken these programmers and they may giving it to you all in one size fit all or one side here. You want it, people complain about, oh, I gotta wait till next week. That was listen, the only reason why these companies we can get mad at these businesses all they want, but they're only giving the public what they want: entertainment, distractions. Distractions from what? Themselves. Distractions from themselves from operating and working into their divine calling. See, the divine calling takes work. It takes, I got to better myself. I can't be around here scheming and lying and playing games. I can't do that. That's why you see so much content on YouTube where it's negative. People going back and forth. I was just watching what's his name? He's a judge. I think he's out of Michigan. Oh man, I was just watching him. Man, just because I'm thinking about him, I can't even think of his name. He wears glasses. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But I know what he said. He said that the community, the black community, this is how he put it, is an embarrassment to himself. Because all we do is go back and forth at each other, talking about each other, gossip, gossip, and that's true. That is the in our right now. You look, all you see is content for the most part is about that one said this, he a liar. And then they go back and forth and defend themselves. I remember when I could have got caught up in that. I was caught up in it, but I didn't go back and forth. The other group was just doing a lot of talking about me. But I never fed into it. And what happened eventually, it died away. It went away. And guess what? The hardest thing about some situation like that was I was worried. It wasn't about what was being said. It wasn't about the people listening. It was about me and my interpretation of being said and my reaction to what being said. That the emotion that I felt out of that is because I felt like I was being lied on, and I was, and I wanted to set the record straight. Took everything in me not to go publicly and set the record straight. I mean, I went as far as get proof that what I was saying was right. Right? I went that far. But I almost did it and always pulled back. And I'm glad I did that because it taught me something about myself. Why was I so concerned about setting the record straight? The reason why was I was still living in this place where I was worried about what people thought about me. And that fight with myself not to react to that. I know I'm off subject. We talking about breaking habits. Well, that is a habit. That's another habit. I'm breaking it. What is the trigger? The trigger is someone says something, and my reaction to it, the craving is I need to. These people going to think something about me, and I need to fix that. And then I realized, what am I fixing? What really am I fixing when I'm correcting what people say about me? Nothing, because people really don't care that much. Oh, they care as much as about you in that moment when people are dogging you and trashing your name. But after that, they on to someone else they're going to trash. Look at it. A couple of weeks ago, Steve Harvey. This week it's Monique and Tiffany Haddish and whoever else she wants to talk about. See what I'm saying? That whole hype over of Cat Williams and what he said, it's gone now. Let's be on to another one. And there'll be another one next week and the week after that. A bunch of nonsensical issues when it pertains to your life on the micro level. None of those people is going to come and write a check to pay a bill for you. So why do we need to care? When people think a certain way about me, none of them, they can think whatever they want because at the end of the day, I'm the only one that can pay my own bills, will pay my bills, or even they're not offering anything to enhance my life. The one thing you'll find out about people, for the most part, they will offer, the large majority is only offering a negative thing to say about you. And it's an old saying, opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got them. So it don't matter. Their opinions is about as good as the bottom of the dirt on your feet. And when you're operating in your highest level of consciousness, it don't matter what they think or what they will do. Because in your true self, you will know what to do in that day, in that hour. You will know what to say in that day and in that hour. You don't have to worry. When it comes to what people feel and say about you, you should automatically default to who cares? I don't care. Be careful that what you buy into, what habits. That's one of our biggest habits is our ability to worry about what people think. But back to the book. It says cue, craving, response, and reward. The four-step pattern is the backbone of every habit, and your brain runs through these steps in the same order each time. First is the cue. The cue triggers your brain to initiate behavior. It is a bit of information that predicts a reward. Our prehistoric ancestors were paying attention to cues that signaled the location of primary rewards like food, water, and sex. Today, we spend most of our time learning cues that predict secondary rewards like money and fame, power and status, praise and approval, love and friendship, or a sense of personal satisfaction. Of course, these pursuits also indirectly improve our odds of survival and reproduction, which is the deeper motive behind everything we do. Yes, a lot of stuff we do is done because we want to continue a legacy of ourselves. We want to duplicate ourselves. That's why we pursue each other in relationships. So what? So you can meet someone, settle down, have children, and they become little versions of you. That is one of our biggest ingrained habits that we have, which we can also call instinct. from a man's point of view, my biggest motivation for my day is I want my life to be successful, not just for me, but because why is it that I want, why is it that I want my life to be successful? Have all the accomplishments so that I can feel good. What is the trigger? The trigger is so that I can feel good about leaving something of a legacy for my children's children. That's the satisfaction. That is the reward. But how do I get to that reward? I have to build proper habits. I have to build good habits. I have to follow those 4 steps. What is cueing me? If I don't do this and I go instead watch some television program or participate in conversations that lead nowhere, I won't have this. So the trigger is I don't want that result. Just like when the cats were stuck in a maze and they couldn't get out, they were doing other things. They didn't get the result. So I can't do that. I have to get to the point where I am efficiently able to pull the trigger, pull the lever on my own success quickly and efficiently. Same thing with my guitar. How do I learn this habit? This is learning a guitar is basically like building a habit, building proper habits, finger techniques, you know, holding my fingers the right way. This is one of the things, right? Hold it like that, and then stroke the keys, bringing my fingers together in one fluid motion. If I'm doing, you know, I had to learn those habits. And what's the reward of this? Learning a song, being able to. That's one of the songs. I could do better than that, but just kind of showing you, I couldn't do that without building proper habits. When I first learned the guitar, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just striking and pulling keys. Now I have technique. So how do you build a good habit with yourself? You have to build proper techniques. You have to build cues. What's that 4 steps? Cue. You got to build the cue. What's the cue? What is that cue? Hey, I want to make a certain amount of money today. And then the craving to make more money. The response, okay, the response is what do you do to be able to maybe post some content, maybe put out some emails, make some phone calls. And then the reward is the results. See, right now in the bad habits, you got a lot of bad cues that are keeping you where you are. The desire to, the craving to sit down and watch a lot of television, the craving to go out and party, the craving to get on the phone and gossip and talk about nothing, the craving to hang out with people who have no interest in going where you're going. I'm not saying don't hang out, but remember, why do you hang out with certain people that you hang out with? What do you get? What is the craving? What is the reward? These are all habits. See, me, I have always been somewhat of a recluse or loner because I never really was interested in a lot of conversations that people were holding. I'm more interested in conversations that improving myself, learning something. I want to learn something from the person I'm talking to. I don't really get thrills off of talking about guys who make millions of dollars to throw balls or shoot basketballs. I don't particularly care for that. Now, can I have those conversations? Yes, I can. I'll do at times, but it's not the dominant part of my conversation. My daughter said to me the other day, "You always talk about money." Yeah, because money is the dominating force in this society that keeps the bills paid. So I have to talk about something that I always need. And the other thing is, that also taught me, that's all she can remember me saying is talking about money. So that means I need to balance my conversation with talks of love and other things so that that becomes okay. He talks about money, but he also talks about this. See, just a side note, you can learn a lot from your children if you really listen to them. Stop looking at them as you know everything and they don't. Just really listen. You can really learn a lot from your children. So, how are you going to break those bad habits that you have? How are you going to break them? You got to offset them. Okay, let's see what this book is saying. All right. Where was I? So, in summary, the cue triggers a craving, which motivates a response, which provides a reward, which satisfies the craving, and ultimately becomes associated with the cue. Together, these four steps form a neurological feedback loop: cue, craving, response, reward. Cue, craving, response, reward. So, it's a loop that ultimately allows you to create automatic habits. This cycle is known as the habit loop. This four-step process is not something that happens occasionally, but rather it is an endless feedback loop that is running and active during every moment you are alive, even now. The brain is continually scanning the environment, predicting what will happen next, trying out different responses, and learning from the results. The entire process is completed in a split second, and we use it again and again without realizing everything that has been packed into the previous moment. We can split these four steps into two phases: the problem phase, the solution phase. The problem phase includes the cue and the craving, and it is when you realize that something needs to change. The solution phase includes the response and the reward, and it is when you take action to achieve the change you desire. So I just showed you the elements, the problem, and the solution phase. We're constantly trying to figure stuff out and then solve it. But because we have so many bad habits in the way, it's very difficult to level up because you got to stop those cues and those cravings of the old habits. All behavior is driven by the desire to solve a problem, like watching television. The problem is to solve that problem, you have to watch the television. Sometimes the problem is that, excuse me, sometimes the problem is that you notice something good and you want to obtain it. Sometimes the problem is that you are experiencing pain and you want to relieve it. Either way, the purpose of every habit is to solve the problems you face. In the table on the following page, you can see a few examples of what this looks like in real life. Imagine walking into a dark room and flipping on the light. You have performed that simple habit so many times that it occurs without thinking. You proceed through all four stages in the fraction of a second. The urge to act strikes you without thinking. Hold on. All right. So this whole chart. So here's the four laws of behavior change. I, the four laws of behavior change, and it provides a simple set of rules for creating good habits and breaking bad ones. You can think of each law as a lever that influences human behavior. When the levels are right positions, creating good habits is effortless. Effortless. When they are in the wrong position, it is nearly impossible. How to create a good habit? The first law, cue, make it obvious. The second law, craving, make it attractive. The third law, response, make it easy. The fourth law, reward, make it satisfying. Remember, I always like to do things easy, the easiest way to do it. When you make something too complicated, it becomes a problem, becomes a burden. You're not going to stick with it. We can invert these laws to learn how to break the bad habit. Inversion of the first law, Q, make it invisible. So, if, for instance, watching too much television is a problem, unplug it. Make it hard to turn it on. Take or even remove the television. Inversion of the second law, craving, make it unattractive. Make it unattractive that you want to watch and sit down. Think about that feeling you got after you binge watch 8 shows. Did you really feel good about yourself? No, I know when I did it, I was like, dang, I spent 8 hours watching TV. I could have been doing something else that could have made me some money. That's how come I don't do that anymore. I still watch television, but I do it in small increments. It does not take up the majority of my day or time or any. Some days I don't watch television at all. I go days without watching TV. Then certain days I'll pick up, hey, this is the day I'll just sit here and relax and watch something. Inversion of the third law, make it difficult. Make that bad habit difficult for you to perform and make it unsatisfying. I know the unsatisfying thing was after I watched it, although I got all my curiosities satisfied with the show and how it ended. And a lot of times these shows end where they don't even make sense. You watch all that stuff and get to the end, and you're like, I ain't like it. How many shows you watch and you get to the end and be like, I ain't like the ending. You sat there all that time and like the ending was stupid. Complete waste of time. And you get mad because the ending they couldn't even know how to finish it off for you. They suckered you in with all the previous 7 shows, like it was gonna be some great ending, and it wasn't. The spiritual teaching from that, the man's ideas of satisfying will never satisfy you. The only thing that's going to quench your thirst is seeking out spiritual knowledge. And what spiritual knowledge I'm talking about? Who are you? Who are you in this divine grand scheme of things? Who are you? That's what's satisfying. You can never go, you'll keep wanting more and more, but every level you go, you're satisfied. It would be irresponsible for me to claim that these 4 laws are an exhaustive framework for changing any human behavior, but I think they're close. As you will see, the 4 laws of behavior change apply to nearly every field from sports to politics, art to medicine, comedy to management. These laws can be used no matter what challenge you are facing. There is no need for completely different strategies for each habit. Whenever you want to change your behavior, you can simply ask yourself, how can I make it obvious? How can I make it attractive? How can I make it easy? How can I make it satisfying? If you have ever wondered why don't I do what I say I'm going to do? Why don't I lose the weight or stop smoking or save for retirement or start that side business? Why do I say something is important but never seem to make time for it? I think in one of these sentences of questions, everyone can find themselves in those questions. I know I did. The answer to those questions can be found somewhere in these 4 laws. The key to creating good habits and breaking bad ones is to understand these fundamental laws and how to alter them to your specifications. Every goal is doomed to fail if it goes against the grain of human nature. Your habits are shaped by the systems in your life. In the chapters that follow, we will discuss these laws one by one and show how you can use them to create a system in which good habits emerge naturally and bad habits wither away. The first law, make it habits. So we'll talk about that next Sunday. You see? Put my bookmark. Yeah, this is one of the things. I read a lot of this book, but I went back to some chapters because you know how you read stuff and you don't keep it. So I went back. So we're gonna read this book together. See, what did I wanted to finish off this book, right? And I've been suggesting this book. So I'm following the law, right? What was that first law? Make it obvious. So I'm making it obvious. So how I'm going to read this book, I'm going to read it with you guys every week, and hopefully we'll go through a bunch of books together. That's how. That's because I can't seem to finish it on my own. Like just sitting there, I'm gonna still read it in my private time because I really. In order for me to even get to reading this book, I was reading something else, right? Finishing off this book, and I had built a habit of reading morning and night. I've been doing it for the last almost 3 weeks. And maybe 1 or 2 nights I didn't read at night or even in the morning, but I picked up something and read it. And you know how you reading, if you get sleepy, you just read it, you ain't absorbing nothing. So I said, you know what? And I didn't even know I was gonna read that chapter today. And I said, this is what I'll do to be able to trigger myself to be consistent with the book. I'll just do it as part of the lesson. See, these are some of the things you can do. Then I can guarantee you, if I stay with that, I'll be able to read these books without even doing the show because what? I have to read them before I do the show now. I made a commitment. And I'll leave it here, right here as a cue. So I can be triggered to study. Right here. Oh, 10:56. Okay, we got Seeking May is out there. What is in your drink today? Oh, it's my cha-cha and orange juice. That's my drink. DJ Thunder says, oh, cha-cha and oranges. Morning, good morning, everyone. DJ B Thunder. He also says, peace, love, prosperity, extreme wealth to everyone. We don't have as many people we usually have on the day. Y'all need to start sharing this information more than people share. Put it out there. So this week I'll get with Corinne and Steve, and we're going to lock in a date when we're going to launch this thing. Work out all the kinks. I think it's time to be ready. We're ready to roll. This new system that I'm going to be teaching. I'm excited. I'm excited. And I feel compelled to leave you guys with the word of encouragement. If you fell off the wagon, you fell off the horse, whatever, you got set back, it's okay. Don't beat yourself up. Remember, you're trying to undo years of bad habits that you have formed for yourself. But I'm going to tell you, the thing that is you should be proud of is that you are aware that you need to do better. That simple awareness changes things. Now, once you get to simple awareness, allow it to trigger you to do something so that you can get the reward of what it is to level up. Get that reward. See, the key is to get the reward. And then do a feedback loop. Go back to the cue. Trigger, response, reward. Cue, trigger, response, reward. But the reward you're getting is your constant participation in your elevation and learning about yourself and who you are and your divine nature, your divine spiritual calling that you have been given. I will say this all the time. Everyone listening to my voice, who will listen to my voice, you are a pure divine manifestation of God. That's who you are. And everything you should be working towards is manifesting those qualities. Everything else is secondary. Put forth the kingdom of heaven first, then these things will happen to you. Then these things will be added to you, as it should be said. We had a great show on Thursday. We're going to have another one. And then look forward to seeing you on Tuesday. Remember what I said. Tuesday is about teaching y'all, to give y'all remedy in man's world. Not sure what I'm going to talk about Tuesday, but we're going to talk about something. Maybe it'll be IRS. Maybe it'll be district. I don't know. But with that being said, peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to everyone. Have a great rest of your day. I realize this is the Super Bowl. If you're going to hang out with people, be safe. And be mindful of your surroundings. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on right now. Just be mindful. Keep yourself in a positive way. Peace, prosperity, and extreme wealth to all. Have a great Sunday.